Oi, pessoal, eu sou Catarina Moraes e hoje a gente vai fazer uma entrevista exclusiva com Mark Knopfler do Dire Straits. So it's been 4 days since you released One Deep River. So how are you feeling? And your 10th solo album is out.
How am I feeling?
Yeah.
I feel very lucky.
Really?
Yes, I feel blessed and lucky and fortunate and all those things. Yeah.
Amazing. And each album, each music in your album feels meticulously crafted in details and lyrics and also musical arrangement. So can you walk us through a little bit about the inspiration behind it?
Well, yeah, I don't know that there was inspiration behind the whole album particularly. I mean, it's just song by song and with a beautiful band. So they're such great players, and you don't have to explain things very, very much to guys like that. People who can play like that. You just let the movie, let the song be a movie, and you let the song just, everybody's trying to do the best thing for the song. That's how it works.
And
so you don't put yourself first. You don't say, wait till they hear how well I play the drums. It's not like that.
You produced and you recorded this in your studio, your own studio, British Grove, in London. And I already saw you talking about how the studio environment also contributes to the creative process of all this album. So how did it feel for you doing it in your own space?
It's a high point.
Yeah.
In the year, it's the high point because you've got a man in every corner. It's it's a beautiful thing between everybody. And I'm not telling people what to do. And it's like the song is almost like a child. You're doing the best thing for the song, and then it goes bye, goes off down the road, and goes on to have a life of its own because the world is listening to it. The world is already listening to the song, and the song is also happening for different people in a different way, and so I always find that if I have to explain a song, it kind of spoils it.
That's true. The song, it speaks for itself. All the songs in the album speaks for themselves.
I hope so.
Yeah. And you collaborated with Guy Fletcher. So I wanted to know, what insights do you feel that he brought into this project?
Well, the great thing about Guy is that he's a fully trained recording. He was fully trained. He's a recording engineer as well as a musician. So that means that, because he can operate all the machinery, he and play some keyboards, the two of us in the studio I can make a demo in the studio with Guy. That's all we need. We don't need anybody else. So if I want to, I can start a song just with Guy. I mean, if I've written the song, I'll just, I can start to demo the song with Guy. But, I think the most powerful thing is when I do that with a band. So I'll have written the song and then I just play the song to the band. And with acoustic guitar and then from beginning to end. And then that's it. And they will chart it and they can chart that very quickly usually, and we're in the business of the song straight away, pretty quick. Those guys are really good.
Yeah. I saw in a recent interview, and it sparked a curiosity out of me, because in an interview you said that you feel like you had to release this album and to appear in this industry right now, you had to like raise your hand amongst like all the other releases. And I wanted to know like how do you feel like navigating this landscape nowadays of the music industry?
Yeah, that's a good question. How I feel like, I think every time feels like the first time. But I think it's like that going in to record an album every time, feels like the first time. I don't think anything makes it easy, and nothing makes it easy. And I think putting your hand up, it's like in the Stampede, I'm standing on my horse, and waving, hoping somebody will see me because, I know there are so many thousands of new songs coming out. How do you keep up, Katharina?
It's hard.
How do you keep up? Yeah. How do you keep up with, do you have anybody to help you keep up?
Yeah, I try to keep up by myself, but it's hard. It's a lot of information. It's a lot of new songs and new stuff all the time. So it's a challenge. And I think that when you saw, like, because you passed various phases of the music industry and moments, so it must be such a crazy experience to live it nowadays.
Yeah, it is. And actually, I think management, my manager told me how many new songs there are, or new artists there are every week, and it's frightening. It is scary.
Yeah.
But I think it was always hard to be, a songwriter or a singer, and it was always hard to be an actor or or a dancer or a sculptor or anything.
Yeah.
I think it was always difficult. It was always difficult. So I still treasure the dream, having the dream of getting there. And I sympathize with it very much. I understand how it feels, and I remember saying to the guys who were making the first album, the engineer and the producer, Muff Winwood, and Rhett Davis was the engineer, and I said, this may be just another record to you, but it's not me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
and there's 1,000 people. Then I know that there's 1,000 other people in the studio in London making records, hundreds more. Just in London, they'll be making records, but so not necessarily in very good studios. I mean, most studios that people have got now are like home studios.
That's true.
And then they bring them into a good studio to make them better before they finish them. But I regard myself as very, very fortunate, very lucky to be able to do them from the ground up. Record them from the beginning, and a great place that sounds great. And I haven't had a bad day in British Grove. Never had a bad day.
Oh, that's amazing. Your album, it talks a lot about like also your British, like a British lens and origins, and you take it a little to another direction. I felt it was very intimate, and I really loved the lyrics and the song and the writing of it all. And
thank you.
Yeah, and when I in another interview, I saw that you said that going home is like a circular moment for you, and it's a movement that you always feel like you're going back to your origins. I felt that a lot when I heard One Deep River. And also you said that music is like going back to circular moments for you, going back to your origins. So just to finish off, I wanted to know, how do you feel like 28 years after your debut solo album, how do you feel like that this album represents your moment right now?
Yeah, it's funny how that happens. I mean, I would say a circular moment would be, when when I was doing a television special, was on it, with Chet Atkins. It was in Nashville, and it was at Vanderbilt. It was just TV cameras and a studio audience. And there were guests, Chet had guests on his show. It was his little TV show, and he had guests. He had Emmylou Harris, and he had the Everly Brothers, and and other great guests. And when I was a little kid, I worshipped the Everly Brothers, and when my little pal Vince would be one Everly brother, and I would be the other Everly brother. We would sing those songs and try and get the harmonies right. And anyway, there were the Everly Brothers, and they were on the show, and I was in the band, and I'm thinking, wow, I'm in the band. But also, they were singing one of my songs. So I'd written the song, and so my song was coming back to me via the Everly Brothers, with the Everly Brothers, who I used to idolize, and still do. And what a wonderful moment. It's like a circular thing. And so when the Shadows, would be playing Going Home, the From Local Hero soundtrack, they recorded it themselves, and Hank, was a big inspiration to me when I was a kid on the guitar. So, all of those things come back, and when you're on stage with the Shadows playing Local Hero, it's the same thing, or whatever it is you're playing. Or that's when it circles around and to include you again. And that's the nice thing about circular moments.
I see. This is a circular moment for me then, having to do this interview with you. Thank you so much for this, and thank you for everything. I think the time is over, so thank you so much. It was lovely to meet you, Mark. Yeah, it was.
Lovely to talk to you. Thank you very much, Katharina.
Thank you so much. Então é isso, pessoal. Essa foi a entrevista com o Mark Knopfler. Não esquece de curtir, compartilhar o vídeo e também seguir a gente em todas as redes sociais. Tchau, tchau e até a próxima.